Welcome to the Boxing Gossip bedroom. I have just watched the Joseph Parker, Daniel Martz fight. I'm actually just back from a morning run and out of the shower, so yeah, probably looking a tad bedraggled, but I'm sure you can get over that. First, thanks to the guys who sent me the link to this fight on Facebook. Jose and Dan sent it over to me. Much appreciated, guys. It's going to be one of those, I'm afraid, where my post-fight video is probably longer than the actual fight itself. Although I promise I won't make it too long, because it's one of those fights where we didn't actually learn too much. There wasn't too much analysis to discuss. Shout out to everyone who tuned into my pre-fight video where I discussed this matchup. As I said, I was going to look into Daniel Martz a bit more ahead of the fight. And in that pre-fight video, I said it's going to be a first-round knockout for Joseph Parker. Wouldn't surprise me if it was the first minute of the first round. Well, I think I underestimated Daniel Martz slightly, because he did make it to the second minute of the first round. But realistically, the class gap here was, obvious. I guess a casual boxing fan, someone who's new to the sport, could look at this fight and say, Joseph Parker won because he just hit so much harder than Daniel Martz. And yes, to an extent, that's right. But some of the subtleties in the ring really highlighted, the gap in class between these two. Daniel Martz, his jab was horrific. For a tall guy with a sort of decent win ratio, who seems to, his record would suggest he carries a bit of power. It's rare you'll see a jab as bad as this. And Joseph Parker was making a mockery of it. I mean, his jab, it was coming out slow, it was ponderous, it wasn't a snappy jab, like a Vladimir Klitschko style jab. And Joseph Parker was just able to move out of the way. It's very inaccurate. And what it meant is that this Daniel Martz had no chance of keeping Joseph Parker at range. The other thing to factor in was Daniel Martz's movement. He was very slow, very lumbering, very ponderous. Joseph Parker, is a more athletic fighter. He was getting low, he was moving his head. And he was just really able to cut open Daniel Martz's defence instantly. Daniel Martz had nothing. There was no way he could keep him at range. He had nothing. And you could see the punches he was throwing at this level just carried no power and were no threat whatsoever to Joseph Parker. Parker was working nicely. I was impressed by the fact he was, working the body. You could sort of tell the second he was going to start unloading, the fight was going to be over. And then, probably about 70-80 seconds into the fight, he gets low, kind of throws, I think it was an overhand right, catches Daniel Martz sort of towards the top of his head. The guy's down, he gets up at 9.5, it's clear he doesn't want any more. Referee does the right thing by stopping the fight at that point, You can see when a fighter's knocked down sometimes if it's... Daniel Martz probably could have fought on. I'm not saying Joseph Parker rendered him completely unconscious. It would have been, possible for him to continue to fight. But you could really tell here he didn't want it. He was shaking his head. He felt the power of Joseph Parker, and enough was enough. Did we learn anything in this fight? Not really. Joseph Parker's a big puncher. Joseph Parker's a class heavyweight. The guy he was in with was low level. And as I said in my pre-fight video, you'd pick a lot of Parker's former opponents to beat this guy. We didn't learn anything. I can't say I'm impressed in this performance compared to what Parker's done previously. What it does tell us is, he's staying busy, he's staying active, he's staying dedicated to the sport. That's a good thing in a young heavyweight. It's nice to see him ticking over. Nice to see that he's obviously well within himself. But realistically, unless we step up the level of opposition, Parker's going to be icing guys out like this. Because, this guy just wasn't fit to be in the same ring as him, really. Let me know your thoughts on this fight. Keen to hear if people have seen anything that I haven't seen. Many thanks as always for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be discussing Joseph Parker's next fight soon, and I wouldn't want you guys to miss it. Please click the thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks, everyone.